tuning in. Lively times. Lively times. Now, you know what? Yesterday, before I do that, before I get into yesterday and start talking about some of the other stuff, if you would please bless me by hitting that thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. If you would hit the thumbs up for me, it would make a world of difference. Hit the thumbs up and share this video. I would greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it. All right. Now, President Trump. Apparently,
Welcome. There is one other participant in the conference.
that's coming through, Shannon. So I'm opening up the phone lines, is what you're hearing there. I'm opening up the phone lines. So if you want to give me a call, you can. I've been opening up the phone lines every day this week, and I had some interesting calls. Maybe we'll get some more interesting calls here. So if you're interested, please, by all means, give me a call. The number, we're going to put the number here up on the screen, 319-527-3453. We'll put the numbers up on the screen so you can give me a call and we can talk about this. Now, President Trump, he actually did a report, actually sit down and talked about, he's at NATO. What am I getting at here? Let me just get into it. I got a lot of things on my mind right now. Please forgive me. So, President Trump gave the order to take out these nuclear facilities in Iran. He gave the order for it. And when President Trump gave the order for it, it all happened without a hitch. No one knew about it. No one was aware that it was taking place until after the fact. I mean, it happened. Then we got wind that it happened. But no one knew otherwise. No one had any idea that it was taking place until we all got the news that it did take place. And of course, after it took place, that's when the Democrats lost their minds. Oh my goodness, everybody, not even just Democrats, but a lot of people were screaming, oh, he's taking us into World War III. He's putting us in this conflict. We shouldn't be in this conflict. I've heard it from so many people everywhere online. You've all heard it. But see, the thing is, we've been in this conflict from day one. We may not want to admit it, but we've been in this conflict from day one. 100% been in this conflict. And I think everyone is aware that we've been in this conflict. And well, there's some people that don't want to acknowledge it. And I get it. They might have some other reasons why they don't want to believe that we're actually in this conflict when we are. And the reason why I say we're in this conflict, because we're allies of Israel. And I also made the point before that, let's just say this. Because we're allies with Israel, and let's just say that we stayed out of it 100%. Okay? Let's just say we're not going to get involved. Let Israel do its thing. Constantly going to attack them. Right? Let's just say that happens. Right? And let's say they were able to take out Israel. Never going to happen. But let's just say that they were, hypothetically speaking here. Who do you think they would go after next? Do you think it would be like, oh, it's all done. Now we can live in peace and harmony? No, that wouldn't happen. The next alternative or the next option would be the United States of America, simply because we stood with Israel from the get-go, simply because we showed support for Israel one time, even because they've already made it clear they want to come after. They want to come after the United States of America. They've already made it clear. They're not even being shy about it. So this is the reason why I believe that we are in the certain situation that we're in right now, and that has a lot to do with this leakage that happened from the I guess they said from the intelligence community. They said it was leaked that President Trump did not have a successful mission. This is what they're reporting. This is what they're saying, that President Trump did not have a successful mission. And come to find out, he actually did have a successful mission. But regardless of the information that comes out, people are going to believe what they want to believe. Some people will believe the truth, and some people will believe the lie. Now, the question is, what is the truth and what is the lie? When you have all of the liberal media, all of the leftist woke media coming out saying that President Trump, he did not have a successful mission. It was not at all successful. Everything's still intact. He just scratched the surface. Nothing happened. When you have the liberal media saying that, I question it. Now, there's nothing wrong with questioning what President Trump, questioning the mission, because President Trump is questioning. President Trump wasn't in the plane. Of course, he's going to question it. Was the mission successful? Was it intel good or not? He's going to question it. That's the very reason why he pulled the trigger on this, pun intended, because of the intel that he received. He questioned the intel, and he should question the intel. And there's nothing wrong with us questioning it as well. But what President Trump did, what he accomplished more than people would like to admit. They don't want to even admit to it. I did this little video last night, and actually, you know what? I put the video on TikTok, and TikTok did not like the video. TikTok did not like the video. Basically, because I showed where the Communist News Network is saying, this is the Communist News Network saying that, well, this pushed them back a couple of months. But before they were saying they got pushed back a couple of months, they were all saying that, oh, they're years from having a nuclear weapon. They're years from it. They're not going to make it. They're not even there. They're not even there. Where's the intel on it? Show the world the intel. They're not even close of having one. But now when you listen to them, they'll tell you that, oh, they only got pushed back a couple of months, a few months. They only got pushed back a few months. So a few months from now, if Israel leaves them alone, if the United States of America leaves them alone, a few months from now, according to the liberal left, they're going to have a nuclear weapon. When all along they kept saying that they're not even close. But now they're just a few months from it now. Do y'all see the issue here? Do y'all see it? Anybody see that? Isn't it interesting how that works? All of a sudden, now they're just a few months because of what happened after President Trump with the bunker busters. Right? After that, now they're just a few months. 319-527-3453. Do you believe the leaker? So now there's a leaker that came out and said that President Trump's mission was not successful. He did not take out the facilities. This is what the leaker is saying. I'm kind of paraphrasing it here. He said it was not successful. And of course, whoever the leaker is, apparently they ran straight over to the Communist News Network. Why didn't they go to Fox News? Fox News would have reported on it. Why didn't they go to Fox News? Maybe because Fox News would have verified the information before they just released it. We know how the Communist News Network is. Oh, just put it out there, because they know if they put the lie out there from the get-go, that's the information that a lot of people will believe. This is the same tactic that they've used forever. Same tactic. So they put the lie out there and people run with it and say, oh, look at that. President Trump's failed. He lied to us all. And the liberal media is controlling the narrative, and people believe in that narrative. It's really amazing. It really is. We see it all the time. We see it all the time. Let me bring something to your attention. So this leaker comes out and said that President Trump's mission was not successful, but there was no leaks before the mission or even during the mission. There was zero leaks. You know that? Zero leaks. So, but now all of a sudden that we all know that the mission took place, because now that they told us about it, now we have a leaker come out. But now we're supposed to believe the leaker. So here it is. You have the tightest mission take place that I've ever known. Now, I'm pretty sure there's been other missions take place. Come on, we can't be naive like that. I'm pretty sure there was other missions that take place that no one even knows about except for a very small select few. But this was huge. Flew planes from the United States of America to Iran and back without anybody leaking any information. But now all of a sudden we have a leaker, but we're supposed to believe the leaker. All of a sudden, now that we all know what took place, heck, anybody off the street could have gone on there and said, oh, yep, you know what? Here's the leak. Here's information CNN. It's not true. Or some disgruntled employee at the Pentagon and the intelligence community. I'm so mad with President Trump. Let me just put this out. And apparently they're going to do an investigation on this. And whoever put this information out there trying to make President Trump look bad, discredit Pete Hegseth either. And I think that's one of the main reasons why they did this, because they want Pete Hegseth to look like he does not have a tight ship. But it was completely tight, locked down. But they want people to believe that it's not a tight ship. So this way, and so they're trying to make him look bad, Pete Hegseth, and of course, President Trump. And I don't think President Trump is buying it. And then let me say something else really quick. The part of the reason why this leakage is happening, my personal opinion, okay, this is my personal opinion on this. Part of the reason why they want this leakage to happen or to have people believe that President Trump was not successful, so President Trump will put more planes in the sky, go over to Iran and drop more bombs. This is what they want. And this time, if President Trump falls for it, which he's not going to, okay, we're hypothetically speaking here. If President Trump puts airplanes in the sky, they're going to most definitely try to leak it because they're going to be mindful. They're going to be watching it. They're going to be listening in. They're going to be like looking at the skies. Find one. They're going to try to do something, even though it's a stealth bomber. So they're going to do everything they can to try to disrupt the next mission. That's the whole objective. And so when the airplanes go over to Iran, they want to make it possible to where those planes will get hit, shot down or something because they want the United States of America to go into full-on conflict with Iran. These people out there saying that, oh, my goodness, we shouldn't be involved. Or these people out there saying that United States of America should never even assist Israel. They want the war. They're not saying, well, we want war. They're not saying it. Because, see, what President Trump has done was a huge deterrent. And I told y'all yesterday, for anyone who was listening, when President Trump got on that airplane and he made the phone call to Benjamin Netanyahu and the leader, I don't even know how to say his name, in Iran, you noticed it's been like all the reports coming out. I'm pretty sure there might be small pockets of conflict here and there, sure. But ultimately, like everything is like fizzled down and they're coming to an agreement. It looks like the ceasefire is starting to stick now. The ceasefire, they're like, okay, we're not going to do it. President Trump put his foot down. And oh my goodness, President Trump just made things worse. I don't think so. When you have a fire, brush fire, forest fire, how do firefighters take that fire out? It's not even a trick question. Anyone who's been paying attention, you know exactly how they do it. They take the fire out with fire. And President Trump deterred the world from going into World War III. See, they want President, and I think part of the reason some people, not everybody, some of the reason why some people wanted the United States of America to stay out of this conflict, which we're already in the conflict, regardless of what people say. But they didn't want President Trump to do what he was doing because they want the conflict to go worldwide. A lot of people want a world war. Not everybody. Some people have different motives, different reasons why they want Iran taken out, different reasons why they want Israel taken out, different reasons why they don't want the United States of America to be involved, different reasons why they want the United States of America to be involved. Me personally, and I've been clear about this, that I've also said this. And let me be clear, that the United States of America should not get involved. I've said that from the get-go. With me saying that, that's just my opinion. But we can't not get involved because we're already involved. Now, in the perfect world, we're just like, well, that's between them two. We'll just stay out of it. In the perfect world, but we can't. We can't. President Trump deterred World War III. See, they don't want to give President Trump credit for that either. And a lot of people still don't like the results that President Trump handed to the world. He said the world can be at peace now. And look what's happening. It's like this simmering down. But of course, there's probably going to be some more conflict coming up because look how many years, decades, centuries they've been fighting. It hasn't come to a complete end. Has not. But as of right now, from the information I've seen, that it has calmed down. Well, let me share this with you. This was on the Communist News Network. Look, if you disagree with me, by all means, there's a number 319-527-3453. Or if you agree with me, I'd like to hear from you. I've been opening up the phone lines all this week, and I've had some pretty interesting calls, some awesome people to call in. But let me share this video with you. This is them yesterday. I saw this yesterday where they're talking about this leakage. Like, oh my goodness, you got to believe the leaker. How many of y'all believe anything that comes out of CNN? Remember Russia, Russia, Russia. Did they ever even apologize for that? Did they ever even apologize? Oh, President Trump colluded with Russia. They pushed it 24/7. +1. Because I think it might have been a leap year. But they pushed it every single day. Russia, Russia, Russia. And I never heard a single apology from them because they all knew it wasn't true. So why would anyone take the word from CNN?
About the battle damage that resulted from those U.S. military strikes on these 3 Iranian nuclear facilities over the weekend. And as you said, it was produced by the Defense Intelligence Agency, which is the Pentagon's intelligence arm. And it is worth noting that it is a very early assessment. The strikes were only a matter of days ago, and the intelligence community is still gathering intelligence. They are still working to come up with a full, comprehensive picture of what exactly happened here. But based on a battle damage assessment that was carried out by U.S. Central Command, essentially looking at the images and looking at what was actually damaged, the Defense Intelligence Agency has assessed that the core components of Iran's nuclear program are largely intact, and that Iran's nuclear program has essentially only been set back by months. Now, we presented this information to the White House for comment, and White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt, she did acknowledge the existence of this assessment, but she said in a statement that the administration disagrees with it. She said, quote, "This alleged assessment is flat out wrong and was classified as top secret, but was still leaked to CNN by an anonymous low-level loser in the intelligence community. The leaking of this alleged assessment is a clear attempt to demean President Trump and discredit the brave fighter pilots who conducted a perfectly executed mission to obliterate Iran's nuclear program. Everyone knows what happens when you drop 14 30,000-pound bombs perfectly on their targets, total obliteration." Now, it is worth noting here that there has been dissent, I should say, within the intelligence community, within the defense community about just how much of an impact these massive bunker buster bombs would actually have on Iran's nuclear facilities. It was far from certain, given that these bombs had never been tested in an actual combat scenario, whether they would actually penetrate those very, very deep underground tunnels that lie underneath these nuclear facilities. And what we are told is that as of now, this Defense Intelligence Agency assessment, it does conclude at this point, again, it is still very early, that those underground facilities, including the centrifuges, including the highly enriched uranium that everyone has been talking so much about, those are largely intact.
Now, this is information that they got from the leaker. The leaker, maybe the same person that was doing the auto pen, probably not, but this is the same mentality. So this information that they got from the leaker, that everything was intact, nothing been damaged, it's all there. Like these bunker busters, these were new weapons. They were never really tested in the real world scenario, maybe just in theory. But so everything's intact, like they just scratched the surface. Like they just scratched the surface. That's what they're saying. It just scratched the surface. And the interesting thing is people want to believe what CNN is saying. That's what they want to believe. Any other time they disagree with CNN, any other time they know that CNN will lie to push a narrative. But when it comes to this, they're believing CNN. How does that work? How does that work? Y'all, anyone questioning that?
Now, of course, this does stand at odds with what President Donald Trump and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth have been saying in recent days about the impact of these U.S. military strikes. Of course, President Trump said it was totally obliterated, and Secretary Hegseth did as well. And he actually also provided CNN with a statement And he said that, quote, based on everything we have seen, and I've seen it all, our bombing campaign obliterated Iran's ability to create nuclear weapons. Our massive bombs hit exactly the right spot at each target and worked perfectly. The impact of those bombs is buried under a mountain of rubble in Iran. So anyone who says the bombs were not devastating is just trying to undermine the president and the successful mission. Now, our sources did emphasize here that there was severe damage that was done largely to the above-ground structures at these nuclear sites.
Here it is.
And so there was damage done, of course, by these massive bombs. But the core components of the nuclear program, we are told, they are largely intact, and it only set the program back by a matter of months.
All by the leaker. So you're supposed to believe the leaker that ran to CNN. I mean, come on. These are the same people that will leak information and say this. Did you know that men can become women? The same people, the same mindset, the same theory, the same concept. They will tell you a lie to get people to believe it. I mean, it's so profound. It is so profound. We're seeing it big as day. Big as day. The leakers are putting this information out there, and people would rather believe the leaker than believe the truth. Now, do you believe the leaker, CNN, or do you believe President Trump and Pete Hegseth? Or Pam Bondi in this case? You know, a lot of people, I'm not really really excited about Pam Bondi, but with that said, I trust Pam Bondi more than I trust the Communist News Network or MSDNC, ABC, CBS, the entire Alphabet Network soup group. I trust Pam Bondi over them, believe it or not. So you hear the Communist News Network, and they couldn't wait to run to that. And even before we got there, CNN, I think it was like a couple videos I saw where CNN was constantly saying that there's been no proof, like talking about the ceasefire. There's been no proof that Iran agreed to a ceasefire. There's been no evidence of it. We haven't seen anything. And then right in that same clip, someone comes on there and say, yeah, it's been confirmed that Iran has agreed to a ceasefire, within the next, 6 to 12 hours. And then they had the little conflict. But as of today, it looked like the ceasefire is in full effect. As of today, as of right now, unless something's happening right now, but it's in full effect. And they were all saying, oh, Iran didn't do it. And they were saying that because they did not want Iran to go into a ceasefire, because they wanted Iran to take out U.S. military personnel overseas because they knew President Trump would keep his word and retaliate. They were upset with Iran. The radical left upset with Iran because they did not attack U.S. military personnel. Of course, they did the symbolic one. After they told, Qatar, they told them and they told President Trump, America, hey, we're going to shoot these rockets just to make it look like it. So you had the Communist News Network and all the liberal media come out there and they say that and say, oh, there was no destruction. It didn't happen. Well, here's a clip from Fox News. So we went from one spectrum to the other spectrum. Let's listen to what they say about this.
Well, it goes without saying that leaking that type of information, whatever the information, whatever side it comes out on, is outrageous. It's treasonous. So it ought to be investigated, and whoever did it, whoever's responsible for it, should be held accountable. It could hurt lives in the future. Leaking is a completely unacceptable thing. But let me give you, because I've read all the damage assessment reports from not just our government, but from other governments. And I'm not going to get into anything that's top secret, but let me tell you for sure what happened here. There are three distinct facilities in Iran that we were concerned with. Isfahan, which is a conversion facility. You cannot weaponize unless you have what's called the conversion process at the beginning of enrichment, and then a conversion process to metallicize the material at the end of enrichment. That conversion facility, which, as far as we know, is the only facility in Iran that can do this, was completely destroyed at Isfahan. It's above ground. It was hit with a 30,000-pound bunker buster, and it could not survive that hit. So they have no conversion opportunity, and that means they cannot weaponize, even if they've enriched to 90%. Then there are two other nuclear reactors in Natanz, one above ground and one below ground. The below ground one we know we eviscerated, and the above ground one which had been hit by the Israelis and had been substantially damaged, we put another bomb on top of it just to make sure that it was eviscerated, and we know for a fact it was. Fordo is the last enrichment reactor that was operating there, and we put 12 bunker buster bombs on Fordo. There's no doubt that it breached the canopy. There's no doubt that it was well within reach of the depth that these bunker buster bombs go to, and there's no doubt that it was obliterated. So the reporting out there that in some ways suggests that we did not achieve the objective is just completely preposterous.
Completely preposterous. The objective was complete. It was successful. It was successful. So who are you going to believe? You're going to believe the Communist News Network, or are you going to believe Fox News? Now, look, I'm not like a real big, huge Fox News supporter. I mean, there's a couple people in there. I like Jesse Waters. Judge Janine used to be there. She's not there any longer. But I do like Jesse Waters. But who are you going to believe? Which one do you believe? Now, I'm looking in the comments, and I see a lot of people commenting, and a lot of people not buying the mess from the left. They do this every single time with everything. They come out, oh, President Trump, he lied about this, he lied about that. And come to find out, Trump was right again. How many times have y'all heard that expression? He was right again. He was right again. President Trump has no reason. He has no reason. He is president. This is last term. He cannot run again. He has no reason to lie to us. There's no benefit in lying for President Trump. Shannon, what benefit does President Trump, can you think of a benefit that President Trump would have in lying to us about this, about the successful mission or not being successful? How would he benefit? I mean, where's the benefit?
Doesn't.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Will, here's my thing too. How often has Trump been the one that's right? And the media and everyone else has been wrong. I mean, let's just look at historically.
Yes.
Who has been more honest with us and to us than anyone else. Listen, Trump is the first person to say, if he's not successful, he's going to turn around and make sure he's successful. If he didn't finish the job that he intended to finish, he will turn around and finish. Today on Fox News, they asked him, well, you know, he took some questions at NATO. Uh-huh. And they asked him, they said, what will you do if Iran starts back up their nuclear steps towards becoming nuclear again? And he said, I'll do the same thing again. He's like, I have no problem taking action. I'll do the very same thing. So they've been put on notice, I think. And I think that they know that Trump will do it. Yeah.
Yeah. They know Trump will do it. He's already demonstrated that he will do it. There's no secret that he'll do it again. Well, let's listen to, and I know, you know what? Ted Cruz went on with Tucker Carlson, and a whole bunch of radical people, leftists, liberals, and even some neocons. They're all, you know, saying, oh, Ted Cruz got his butt handed to him by Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson is flipped. I don't know, you know, what happened to Tucker Carlson. Same thing with Candace Owens. I mean, there's something, a switch, something happened.
Well, definitely among the Republicans, Tucker ended up looking really bad. In fact, Tucker knew it was such a bad look.
Yeah.
That he ended up calling and apologizing to President Trump. I don't know if he apologized to Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
But he most definitely apologized to Trump.
Yeah, I don't know if he apologized to Ted Cruz either, but he did apologize to President Trump. And I've noticed this, a lot of these people that say they were, you know, support President Trump, they stand with President Trump, and they came out and say all of this stuff because President Trump did this mission without any of them knowing about it, and they all got a little butthurt after the fact. A lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them are going, well, no, I support Trump, because now they're starting to see. Now they're starting to understand why Trump did what he did.
You know, I mean, it's just who they are. And I think people are frustrated. We know that they hate the president. And it's, look, they're an extension. They are the left wing of the Democrat Party. And the Democrat Party right now They have no positive agenda for the country. They are a party of anger and hate. They hate the president. We just saw an incredible military strike that successfully took out Iran's nuclear weapons capability. And what are the Democrats doing this week? They're voting on trying to disapprove President Trump defending America. And Jesse, one of the important things to understand, the attack that President Trump carried out this weekend, yes, it was supporting our friend and ally Israel, but much more importantly, it was defending America.
And a lot of that's why I was saying that we are in the mix. We're involved, regardless of what people want to believe or not. We're involved. We're involved. I don't want us to be involved in the conflict, and I've already made that clear multiple times. But what I want and what's actually happening are two different things. Would you agree? What is actually happening, what Will Johnson is saying, oh, this is what Will Johnson wants. This is what Will Johnson wants. It's irrelevant what Will Johnson wants, because reality tells us that we are involved. I can scream it to the rooftop all day long. I can scream it. Everybody can scream it, but we are involved. And I think part of the reason why we're involved is because of what the Bible says. Scripture tells us that we, as the United States of America, we will stand with Israel, even in the last days. When the entire world comes down on Israel, because the conflict is not over. When the entire world comes down on Israel, and we're seeing it happen, more and more people getting upset with Israel for various reasons. There's some people getting upset with Israel because they're defending themselves. And there's some people getting upset with Israel because they're defending themselves. You understand? Or some people are upset with him simply because they exist. They're against Israel. And the world at some point is going to come down on Israel, the entire world, except for one nation, and that is the United States of America. Because the Bible tells us that the United States of America, and for those of you that never read the Bible and realize that the United States of America is in there, I encourage you to go read it. In the Bible, it talks about a bird with eagle's wings comes to the aid of Israel. What nation is that? It's not an actual bird flying around that's really big and, putting shadow on the entire earth. It is a nation. Just like there's a nation in the Bible refers to as the bear. Doesn't say the name, but it's referred to as the bear. And the leopard and the lion. And there's only been one nation in the Bible that ever referred to coming to the aid of Israel, the bird with the eagle's wings, United States of America. I'm not the one making it up. It's in the word. And some people don't even want to hear that. Well, President Trump is at NATO, and they're kissing his backside, making it raw. Can I say it like that? I mean, they really are. You remember last time when President Trump was in office, NATO was pushing back on President Trump, and President Trump told him, said, look, you need to get in the gear. The United States of America is no longer going to foot the bill, 90% of the bill. You filthy rich nations that have been taking advantage of the United States of America, no more. You're going to do your fair share. I mean, when I first heard President Trump say this to this radical leftist lunatic people out there, and I'm like, why are they not doing their fair share in the first place when they're the ones constantly saying the millionaires and the billionaires need to pay their fair share? And here are all of these billionaires and millionaires not paying their fair share, and President Trump is the one telling them to pay their fair share in NATO. And President Trump said cutting them off last time. And now President Trump is back. He shows up to NATO, and they're they're kissing they're kissing the ring, because they know President Trump, he's not running for a third term.
Yeah, and you know what, Will? They actually said, I think it was Fox News, that they literally catered this whole meeting
everything
to Trump.
Everything.
They made sure that they were short meetings because Trump doesn't like really long meetings. They were very precise about what they were going to talk about. And of course, they continue it the whole time they're there. They're saying thank you to Trump for boosting defense. Thanks to Trump for making us do this and doing
Kiss
that.
the ring.
And it's all because they said they don't want Trump to leave NATO.
Yeah.
Because Trump's like, listen, if it's not going to be fair, if everybody's not going to pull their weight, then I'm out.
Got to go. Got to go. Not going to pull the weight. Got to go. Well, here's part of the meeting that President Trump had there. And they were actually talking about the strikes that took place in Iran. And then, of course, the whole reason, part of the reason, the leaker, the fake leaker, is to get Pete Hegseth to look like he's not doing his job. Look, they're going after Pete Hegseth like no tomorrow. They can't stand the fact that he's there.
Pete, do you have something to say about that? Well, Mr. President, when you talk to the people who built the bombs, understand what those bombs can do, and deliver those bombs, they landed precisely where they were supposed to. So it was a flawless mission.
Flawless.
Right down where we knew they needed to enter. And given the 30,000 pounds of explosives and capability of those munitions, it was devastation underneath Fordo. And the amount of munitions, 6 per location, any assessment that tells you it was something otherwise is speculating with other motives. And we know that because when you actually look at the report, by the way, it was a top secret report, it was preliminary, it was low confidence. All right, so this isn't, you make assessments based on what you know. They don't.
As I said, it could be very devastating, very serious.
Moderate to severe, and we believe far more likely severe and obliterated.
Is there a leak investigation? Is there a leak investigation?
Of course, we're doing a leak investigation with the FBI right now because this information is for internal purposes, battle damage assessments, and CNN and others are trying to spin it to make the president look bad when this was an overwhelming success.
Who are you going to believe? You're going to believe the leaker? Or are you going to believe Pete Hegseth? Are you going to believe the leakers and CNN, MSDNC, the whole lot of them, the left that's been trying to discredit President Trump and everything that he's done for the past 50 years? Are you going to believe President Trump?
Yeah, I mean, the problem here is that there's somebody in wherever it is, if it's Intel, if it was at the FBI, if it was at the Pentagon, somebody doesn't like Trump. And so they get this little bit of information that kind of looks bad, because it's not a full assessment. Someone just preliminary came out and said, oh, it kind of looks like we didn't get everything. But this was not even a high ranking assessment that this information came from. And somebody there hated Trump so much that they leaked this to the press so they can make Trump look bad. And people are buying it. People are buying it, unfortunately. But like it always does, the truth will come out again. And it should. Either way, it should come out. If it wasn't good, then Trump needs to take action to make sure that what he intended to do happens. But if it is what Trump said, then that should come out as well. Either way. And there's about to be a whole hearing on the strikes in Iran. So I'm sure that the people in the Democrats in the hearing, they're going to take this preliminary information, and that's all that they're going to talk about. That's all they're getting their talking points out there.
Yeah.
Ahead of the truth. They do it every single time.
Yeah, and I'm going to make a prediction here that the radical left, when they have the hearing, they're going to say that what President Trump did was unconstitutional. Completely forget about what Obama did. And it's like, Obama, we're not talking about Obama. We're talking about Trump. He didn't let any of us know. And the reason why he didn't let the radical lunatic liberals in Congress know, because they would have leaked it to Iran to try to prevent the planes from even flying. They would have tried to stop it. Or even better yet, these liberals would have ran to a judge and had the judge do a court order and tell President Trump that he has to land these planes. You cannot take off these planes. Does it sound familiar? See, they want President Trump to go to the radical left for permission to do everything when we, the people, voted for President Trump to do the job that he's doing. We the people. Well, let me share this with you. This is Scott Jennings, okay? And I do like Scott Jennings, okay? This is the only reason why I would look at, I like anything that's on CNN because Scott Jennings. There's a couple other people that, it's interesting that they put him on there because they know it brings ratings. Because people disagree, and they should be able to disagree with one another, have civil conversation. Well, let's listen to Scott Jennings, how he lays all this out.
Yeah, I'd be angry if I were him. I mean, he's the president of the United States, and now he's got a part of the bureaucracy that's leaking top secret, sensitive military information. I mean, we're in the immediate aftermath of a military exercise. This document was not produced for public consumption. It was produced for top secret internal government consumption, and now it's out in the public domain. So if I were him, I'd be mad about that, number one. Look, there's more info to come. There's 17 other intelligence agencies inside the government that have to produce some kind of information. The head of the IAEA says that substantial damage and substantial setbacks have occurred in the program, and it's no doubt that the combined efforts of both Israel and the United States have done a substantial amount of damage to Iran's capabilities here. How much damage? How long have we set them back? I think we don't know exactly yet. This very early in all this. But if I were the president,
keeps saying completely obliterated.
If I were the president and my government was leaking top secret military information after what our military did, which was execute a precision military strike, I'd be pissed.
Of course. And I guarantee they're not going to do like they did in the White House with this little, powdered substance. Well, we don't know who had it. We don't know. Or remember the leak that came out of the Supreme Court? Did they ever find out who leaked that information? You remember when they sent Roe versus Wade back to the states? Y'all remember that? And then they leaked it before they were getting ready to talk about it, which should have never been leaked. Did they ever find out that person?
Actually,
did they find out that
they're
person?
Looking into it. They've reopened up that.
They reopened it, and they should, right? Yeah. Because look, that should have never happened. That's why when President Trump did this mission and none of it got leaked, that's like unusual. That's not normal. How dare you do a mission, President Trump, and nothing get leaks about it? And that's what they're really upset. They're really upset because President Trump has a tight ship. Because if he didn't, that information would have got leaked. And then they would have, like I just said a second ago, they would have ran to a radical leftist judge to get the judge to do a court order to tell President Trump that he cannot put these planes in the sky. And if you do, you need to bring them back. Here it is, President Trump, the executive branch of the federal government, and you have these leftist federal judges trying to tell President Trump how he's supposed to do his job. President Trump said, nope, not going to happen. Not going to happen. Now, you remember when President Trump said that he put out the post on True Social saying that there's a ceasefire between Iran and Israel. It's a ceasefire. He says, the world is safe. I'm paraphrasing because I remember exactly how President Trump said it, but most of y'all seen that post. Well, of course, a few hours after the 6 hours, 12 hours went by, there was still some like little conflict going on, and President Trump said he was pissed. I played it for you yesterday. Y'all saw it, right? Y'all all saw it. President Trump said they don't know what the F they are doing. After that, President Trump got on the phone with them. Listen. What are they reporting on now? It's like it all went silent. Like it's not happening now. Listen to what they're saying here on Fox News about the very same thing. And a lot of people were under the impression, and a lot of people wanted the war to continue to go. Oh, it's not going to stop. Of course, they're going to have conflict because this conflict doesn't end. If you know the word, if you ever read the Bible, we know the conflict doesn't end. But they wanted this to escalate right now. And President Trump smashed it.
Well, last night at this time, we were talking about a ceasefire on paper, at least, between Israel and Iran. Well, we can report tonight that it is holding, at least from our vantage point here in Tel Aviv. All is calm. It was a little bumpy getting there, though. In the last hour before the pause, Iran sent over a barrage of missiles, one hitting an apartment block south of here, killing 4. And Israel got in some last licks, too, hitting Iranian military sites. All this getting President Trump a bit annoyed. But later, Prime Minister Netanyahu had nothing but praise for the president, especially the U.S. role in helping take out Iran's nukes.
אזרחי ישראל, אני מודה בשמכם לידידי הנשיא טראמפ ולארצות הברית על חלקם בהגנת ישראל ובהסרת איום הגרעין של איראן. זהו אירוע היסטורי. זה לא קרה מעולם.
Still, there are new reports tonight of a defense intelligence assessment finding the damage at Fordo and Iran's overall nuclear program not as great as originally claimed, maybe just setting back Iran from getting the bomb by an added 3 months. The Trump administration is denying this, however, and in fact, Israel is saying the nuclear program has been delayed by at least 2 years. And anyway, Israel has also announced if it sees any suspicious Iranian nuclear activity, it will be targeted. Sean, back to the ceasefire, those restrictions on Israeli home front activities like schools, workplace gatherings, they are lifted. The need to be near those shelters have been dropped as well. Normal life here slowly, in this location at least, getting back to normal.
Getting back to normal slowly. He's just there, Tel Aviv in the background. There's nothing happening. You know, it's all calming down. Everyone's calming down. Everyone say, calm down, chill out. President Trump put his foot down. This is what we want. We want the fighting to stop. Ultimately, we all want peace. At least I think we want peace. Some people don't want peace, but I would think that we want peace. President Trump wants peace. And he's striving for peace. He's not trying to have constant conflict on the planet. Not trying to do it. And he's demonstrated that over and over and over again. And what's really amazing to me is how President Trump, you can take it off the screen. President Trump, he's made it clear through the entire campaign. When he was campaigning, Iran should never have a nuke. Iran should never have a nuke. And President Trump says, we want to stop the wars. We want to stop the wars. If you want to stop a forest fire, how do you stop it? Do you just blow? Do you think you can blow it out? I mean, you can use water, but how do firefighters take out the fire? They use fire to take out fire. I know it's kind of like an interesting concept, but they take it out. They burn it out. It's really interesting that they do that. It takes fire to stop fire. And they know this. And that's exactly what President Trump did. And you know what? It takes a lot of guts, a lot of boldness to do what President Trump did. It really does. It takes a lot of boldness to do what he did. Because if you had, like, of course, Obama, he didn't even know where he was half the time. The auto pen was doing his job. But Obama, he was bombing stuff. Not for the benefit of the world. He was doing it for his own selfish reasons, my personal opinion on that. But it's obvious that he was doing it to help out he was doing it to help out the current regime that is in Iran, which a lot of people don't make that connection. Hey, let me say thank you to Not Intimidated for the super chat on YouTube. Thank you so much for that. Not Intimidate. Thank you so much for the super chat. And I'm not sure how I can pronounce the name on Peeled. Okay. But I want to say thank you so much for the gold pills. It's an interesting name. It's like, do you know how to pronounce that, Shannon? Maybe I'm not seeing it. I know it's like MR. I guess just MR. Right? Mr. MR.
It's a bunch of gibberish.
It actually says something.
It does say something?
It does say something. I just can't. It's like I can see it, but I can't see it. I can't put my finger on it.
It looks like some kind of code.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I see it, but I don't see it. Like, you know, it's there. It's there. But I want to say thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you so much for the gold pills on peel.net. I greatly appreciate it a lot. I really do. Hey, if you haven't already, please hit that thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. If you're watching on Rumble, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Peeled, hit the Go Peel. And you know what? We are live on Facebook as well. And actually on the Facebook page that we are live on, this particular page of mine, it is me, if you're watching this, it's called Stop Domestic Terrorism. It is actually my page, and I can get stars on there. So if you're on there, I didn't even go look. Let me see.
And gave some stars.
And gave some stars?
Yes.
Well, awesome.
Our wonderful friend from Canada.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ann. Ann has been a real blessing. So if you're on there and if you haven't subscribed or followed the page, please follow the page. I would greatly appreciate it. And I'm looking on here, and Ann gave stars. Oh, yeah, right there. I see it. Ann, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I just like to say thank you publicly for everyone to support me. And, thank you for everyone who hit that thumbs up. Because when you hit the thumbs up, it really does make a difference in the algorithms. It really does. It truly does. And I want to say thank you to everyone that's hit the thumbs up and hit the red pill on pill.net and hit the hearts on Facebook. Hit the hearts on Facebook. And thank you so much for everyone watching on X America News as well. All right, we're getting ready to come up to the end. Let me play. I got one more I want to play for you with President Trump at NATO sitting down and having a conversation about all of, and they're trying, sometimes they try to get him in the gotcha game. But President Trump, he's on his A game.
Up on Iran, both you and Secretary Rubio and Hexet mentioned the leaders, but can you clarify, is the intelligence correct or is the intelligence wrong?
Well, the intelligence was very inconclusive. The intelligence says we don't know. It could have been very severe. That's what the intelligence says. So I guess that's correct. But I think we can take the we don't know. It was very severe. It was obliteration. And you'd think that a media outlet would say, isn't that a great thing? I mean, more importantly for the pilots, for the military, you take their guts out. You take their absolute guts out. They had a tremendous attack. It was a complete obliteration. The other team, the other group, Iran, said, let's stop this. And you know what? Israel said it too. Very smart. They fought like hell, and then they said, let's stop. And they're going to build themselves. And I really see it as sticking. I mean, we may do papers on it, Marco. Maybe we're going to do papers. I don't even know if you need them. They're not going to be fighting each other. They've had it. They've had a big fight, like two kids in a schoolyard. They fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. Then it's easy to stop them.
And then Daddy has to sometimes use strong language.
You have to use strong language. Every once in a while, you have to use a certain word.
I think we have to join the others.
Yes, we're going to join some other group. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, they're referring to President Trump dropping the F-bomb yesterday, dropping the F-bomb because he was ticked off. Rightfully so. He ticked off because they did not stop trying to eliminate one another. And he was ticked off about the leaker. But you know what President Trump is saying? We're going to handle it. We're going to handle it. Hey, everybody, please go to my website, uniteamericafirst.com, uniteamericafirst.com, and sign up for the free newsletter. You can see it right there. uniteamericafirst.com at the top of the page. Sign up for the free newsletter. You know what, Shannon? We should show this in a way where how it looks on the mobile device, too. Just, sometimes. But uniteamericafirst.com, sign up for the free newsletter. And for everyone who wants to support me, help me continue to help me keep the lights on, I need your help. Go to uniteamericafirst.com/donate. You can become a monthly subscriber where people have blessed me. I'm asking you to help me out. Anything, any amount will actually help me out, will be a blessing. If you want to do this one time, say, you know what? I like what he's saying. I'll help him out this one time. Right there, the one-time options are right there for you on the middle of the page. And then if you want to not do the digital thing, which I completely get, here's my physical address. My physical address is listed right there on my website, uniteamericafirst.com/donate. And just to let you know, I've kept every single letter, every single envelope. I've kept every single one from the very first one. When I got my first letter and first envelope, I told my producer, I said, you know what? We should keep every single one of these. And she said, great idea. So I got them in the Will non-presidential library. All right, everybody, that is it for me. Thank you so much. God bless you. We're going to see what's going to happen in the world. Stay safe out there. Just remember, God got this. See you tomorrow.